Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mac Yak. As you can see, a whole lot of yakkers are not here today. Steve is out rescuing some new computers, right? I think. Let's. Yeah, I hope he does get here because that would be nice to have him on here. But I think Jay is feeling a little under the weather, so can't hear you. Should be able to. He can hear you. Ah. Now we, I was like, why couldn't they hear you? Because I didn't do anything. Yeah. Uh, no, it'll never look that way. There goes the clock late as usual. I don't know why. They should be able to hear you. I don't know why. They should be able to hear you. Say something now. I don't know why. They should be able to hear you. Say something now. Well, you're going to hear the echo now because I'm trying to listen to it on my other computer here. Ah. No, you're sounding. I mean, I see the audio levels on. All right, let's try it now. See if say something. Well, no, there was an echo, but that's because I had the computer up and it was going through my mic. So nothing. This is weird. Why? Cause see, you know why we normally go through J. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let's do this. Hold on. Yeah, we're gonna try something here. Hold on, guys. We're gonna fix this. See what happens when everybody doesn't show up. Then we have issues. Yeah, I do too. I'm gonna put you full screen for a second. And guess what? You're not even. All right. Unfortunately, Master Gecko, you can't do that because the desktop audio uh, in Mac OS does not come through OBS unless you have Soundflower or something like that. So, no, no, I didn't change anything. Let me see something here. Hold on. Let me add NDI source. I'm going to put J in here just to, because normally if I have his audio, yeah, I know. All right, can you guys hear him now? Nope. This is weird. Why can't I get? Ah. All right, let's go back to my. Hold on, guys. Bear with us. We are working through some issues here. So this is what happens when Jay doesn't come in. Is Jay in Skype even? Yeah, I'm gonna do the show myself. Yeah. uh, Jay, get on Skype for a second. Let me just capture your audio real quick. See if they got you now. Test. Nope, I still can't hear you. This is why we don't do this very often with two people. It's not on your end. It's got to be on OBS. Let me No, I see your audio on OBS there. It's coming through, but all right. Let me I'm going to stop the stream real quick. I'll be right back. Don't go away, guys. All right. We're back streaming again. All right. See if we can hear you now. All right. Let me do this then. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to remove you. And then I'm going to add you back again. All right, see if it's any difference now. All right, he's giving out a test, so hopefully, nope. All right, I guess I'm doing the whole show myself then, because OBS is showing you as on and the audio's coming through, but it's not going through. That is strange. That is weird because I should have no problem. All right, let's try it again. Say something real quick. Oh, this is going to be a good show for Halloween. That's what it is. It's trick-or-treating us. All right. Yeah, tell him to get on Skype because normally it's going through his audio for some reason. Yeah. All right. Jay is on.
Can't leave you alone for a second.
Yes. All right. Can you hear Jay?
Anybody hear Jay? Jay, say something.
Say something.
All right. So
All right.
can you hear Dana? And
they
Dana.
Can hear me now. Okay, good.
That's the strangest thing. Now I'm going to do something here real quick. Can you hear Dana still? No Dana now. All right. So it's got to I got to have Jay on here for some reason. So Jay, if you want to
take a day off and you pull this stuff.
Well, if you want, you can go ahead and mute yourself, but mute yourself and see if it's still here, Dana.
Mute me on Skype? All right.
All right. Dana, can we still hear you?
Can you guys hear me now? The lag is weird.
Yes, they can hear you.
Okay. They can.
All right. So let me fix your box here because
All right, dudes, have fun. I'm heading back to the couch.
All right, just leave Skype up and running.
Feel better.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, just you can turn your video off. I mean, just
Or
all
we
right.
could stare at your office, your empty office.
That's true.
Yeah, you might see people do some shady stuff.
Yeah.
Ah,
All right. Okay, good. We finally fixed the problem here. It only took us about 11 minutes to do it. So that's strange. Every time Jay is not on, for some reason, OBS has hooked through Jay.
Yeah, that's
I
odd.
I don't know why it does that, but I'm gonna have to like clear OBS completely out and
Try a whole
redo
new
everything.
profile.
Yeah, try a whole new profile. I really don't
Yeah.
want to do that because I have everything set up like I want it, but you know that's how it goes, I guess. So, all right, guys. So we do have a good show for you tonight. We are going to be talking about some stuff tonight.
Oh, I did
Uh,
mention earlier that Steve is going to try to be here about little less than halfway through the show, so he should be
yeah.
showing up with a couple of new toys.
Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Steve is going to. That's the reason why he's not here right now is because he's rescuing some toys, and hopefully it's from Goldman Sachs. That's
Bruce is on a extended vacation for the weekend. He left, which I guess this afternoon, which is the morning for him. So he's on his way to a trip with his wife and some friends, and they're going
yep.
to be spending some days just chilling and relaxing. So
Cooking, throwing some
I told him
shrimp on
to
the bark.
save. I told him to save a little booze for the rest of Australia, and he said no promises. So
All right, guys. So we're still up over 1,000 subscribers. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Pretty soon, next week, hopefully, we will have be able to do super chats. So
ooh,
look forward to that.
everybody get your wallets ready.
Yeah.
I'm
Uh,
kidding.
yeah, you guys don't have to, but you know, it helps. It basically anything we make off this show is going to for us to all have a get together one of these days, and it's basically to provide a place for us all to meet up at. You know, so
Yeah.
that's pretty much all it's going to be for.
It'll probably
Um,
be at your new place with your like 7 gigabit internet or whatever
Hell
it is.
yeah! Everybody, come on over.
Because
Uh,
Steve doesn't. Steve's got a big basement, but not enough room for people, just computers.
yeah. I would probably have to move my studio that day up to the living room area because that would be enough room for all of us. And I'd have to have several cameras, I think, too, because I don't think we could all fit in one camera.
We'll bring all our own stuff.
Yeah,
We'll bring our gear with us.
yeah. Then OBS won't work, you know, with Skype and everything. So, but then I could do it all, you know, uh, hooked to one computer, so should work
Yeah.
fine that way. So, all right, guys. So let's go ahead and move on to our first topic of the evening. Let me get that up since we're doing that. So let's talk about favorite and least favorite Mac startup chimes. And Dana's got some startup chimes he's going to play for us. And what we want you guys to do is tell us what your favorite and least favorite startup chimes are. So take it away there,
Hmm.
Dana.
Okay, so something that our younger viewers may not realize is that over the years, from the first Mac, the 128 back in '84, all the way up to 2020, there have been, what did I say? It was 3, 4, 6, 9 different Macintosh chimes. Now, if you go all the way back to the Apple II, they actually would beep, and then you'd hear the drive engage, and it was a very particular sound that a lot of older users will remember fondly. But when the Macintosh 128 and the 512K and the Plus came out, I think most of those first compacts, they all had a specific chime when they started. And so that's what we consider the first Macintosh chime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my headphones, because we're high-tech professionals here, and I'm going to put them on the microphone so that you can hear it.
Of
So
course we're professional. Come on.
All right. That's the first one. Did it go through? Did everybody hear that? I want to see if people online heard it. If it's too quiet, maybe I need to turn my volume up or something. Okay, they heard it. Okay, cool. So that was your 128K, your 512K, your Plus SE, and I think even the Classic made that sound. So that was the first. I don't know. It's very simplistic. It's not my least favorite. I will say that. But I think if I had to choose, that would be one. That would be probably one of the last ones that I would choose to have. Mm-hmm. So let's go to. Now this started with primarily the 2 series, your 2FX, your 2, your 2SI, all of those, into the early LCs.
Man, I'll almost say that would probably be my least favorite.
Really?
I just don't like the sound of that. It's like,
yeah,
it's like what?
It's a very synthesized piano-y sound, kind of.
Yeah. It sounds like it sounds like one of those little small synthesizers you could bought from Radio Shack back in the day.
Yeah. Let me see if I'm going to play it again real quick. So that's the one that I grew up on. I had the 2SI when I was a kid, so I'm kind of fond of that. But again, it would not be my first choice. So then we move on to I don't remember. I think it started with the LC. So the LC, the LC2, and a few other performers around that time. They had. It's very similar to that, but it's a little different. You'll hear it here.
Yeah, that one is kind of similar to the previous one,
but
it's a little
it's
clearer.
Softer,
Yeah. It's not so FME.
Yeah, it's more of a. That's actually the first. If you want to call it a bong, that's the first bong. It actually goes bong. So they use that for a number of models. And then we went to, and this is probably my personal favorite. We go to the Quadras. The Quadras had a different chime, and a lot of the, I think the LC3 and the performers of that era, they all used this one. So they used this for a couple, 3 years.
I like that one. That one sounds nice and bassy, you know.
Yeah, it actually did introduce some bass to it. So they used that for a few years, and then okay. So this is where it gets a little bit interesting. I'm gonna do the first gen Power Max first because it was only those machines and the performers that came out, like I said, at the same time, that used this chime, and then it went away. So only the first gen Power Max, your 6100, 71, 8100. So this is what they used.
I do not like that one. That one just
yeah, it's kind of like a guitar with a bad string on it.
Yeah.
Now, here's where we go to pretty much modern day. Except it started with the Quadra 660 and 840 AV. So this is going to sound very familiar to folks, but I'm gonna play it. Hold on, let me just play this one.
Yeah, that's gonna say that almost sounds like the new modern ones.
So they used that very briefly, and then in 1998 they went to this one.
That's a little lower. Yeah, you can tell it's a little lower in.
Yeah, I'll play them back to back.
Yeah, you can tell it's a little lower on the.
So that is the chime that they have used since 1998, and it's been on the majority of Macs made since then. I will say though that you're in the performance. For a while, they tried to differentiate them from the rest a little bit, and so they got this weird custom chime. Listen to this one. Listen to the background in this one.
That almost sounds like a movie or something.
Yeah, it's
Getting ready to
almost like a
start.
movie trailer. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got this weird doo 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 in the
Yeah.
background. Um, and then, of course, the 20th anniversary Macintosh had its own, and no other machine has had this one.
Yeah, that one kind of sucked. Probably just like the Tam, right?
Yeah, it's more subtle. You can hear like little like vibes in the background. It's kind of like a, what do they call those little? I don't know. It's like a keyboard, but you hit it with the little metal sticks. It kind of sounds like that. Play what again? The Performer one? Let me find it. Vibraphone. Yeah, that's right. The Okay, Trina wants me to play this one again.
You hear it, doo 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 doo
Mm-hmm.
doo. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was in a lot of educational market computers because this one that I pulled up it's one of the all-in-one Performers, the 5200 series. Um, so yeah, that's. But I would have to say that the LC one is my least favorite, and then my very favorite is the not the current one, but the one that sounds a lot like it, just a little bit higher. I think that's probably my favorite. So.
I
So
like I like the deep bass ones. You know
yeah.
that's and then when they what was it 2017 I think they started discontinuing the bong
Yeah, they
or
turned it off.
they
You can
turned it
turn it.
off.
You can turn it back on with a terminal command, and you'll
Well,
have to really. I don't know
actually,
what it is.
if you're running Catalina, you can actually turn it back on.
But
Uh,
not if you're running anything earlier.
if you're running anything earlier, you need a terminal command.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh, so Catalina actually has an option to turn it back
yes,
on. Okay.
Catalina actually had the option, uh, and it's funny too because Apple, in their infinite wisdom, put the startup chime in there, but yet they kind of blocked it out, so it wouldn't play. But in the PRAM now, the only problem with that terminal command is if you do a PRAM reset, guess what? It goes away.
Go
So then you got to
back.
go back
Yeah.
and do it. I know DOS Dude 1 wrote a little small script uh, for it to automatically do it, and I tested it for him, and it works pretty good actually. So
Oh, good.
if you ever get a chance, go to DOSDude1s.com and you can download the Chime Reviver if you have a
Hmm.
2017 through 2020 MacBook or Mac. Anything that was made between 2017 and 2020, they actually turned it off in the what do you call it? The firmware.
So they're saying in chat that the new one is slightly different on Macs with a T2 chip.
I have not heard the T2 chip one because I
I
have
haven't
not
either.
owned one or never even wanted to think about owning one. So
It says it's more bassy. Well, that's good.
that's good
I
because
like
I
a little
like the
bass.
it's
Although
a
with built-in speakers, you probably can't tell.
oh so Jay goes it's a D-based version. So what is it? Is it bassy or D-based?
No, I don't know. Huh? I don't
Huh.
know.
So it actually
Tell you.
goes finally a reason to buy a T2 Mac. I don't think having the startup chime is a reason to buy a T2 Mac. Oh,
To each their own, I guess. But
exactly.
yeah, that's a little trip down Macintosh chime lane.
All right, so it's only two of us tonight, guys. So we're gonna probably go through these real quick, and we probably just sit around and chat a little bit. But is that all we got for the chimes, or are we going to talk any more about it?
That's all I had.
Okay.
Like I said, I think my favorite was the Quadra chime or the Quadra
Yeah.
840 Chime, and then least favorite was the LC.
Okay, and just let you guys know that this topic was actually submitted by Craig on Discord. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
we got to thank Craig for giving us that topic.
We've
Otherwise, we wouldn't
got a
had.
couple, three topics tonight that were submitted.
Oh yeah,
So
yep.
we really appreciate that, because when it's a slow news week like it has been, it's a huge help for you guys to suggest topics so that we don't sit here with our thumb up our nose and going, I don't know what to talk
Going
about.
like this, twiddling our thumbs, going, I don't know. All right, guys. So our next topic of the evening, and this was actually submitted by Europa on Discord. It's experience with Linux on a Mac, PowerPC, and Intel. Um,
I
my,
have none.
I really have very little. I've done some Linux a little bit. My knowledge of Linux. So this topic for you and me tonight is kind of very limiting because
Yeah.
we really don't have a lot of experience doing it. But if anybody has experience in the chat there, what's the best distro to actually use, especially on a Power PC? Because I know that Tiger and uh, Leopard is really long in the tooth on a Power PC, and if you want to use the newest browsers, you have to use a a Linux version that's actually being updated. Um, so, what's a good one to use on like a G5, let's say?
I see Sean says Yellow Dog, and I've heard Yellow Dog was really popular on the late 90s, early 2000s Macs.
Hmm.
Ubuntu Void Linux on PowerPC runs fantastically.
I have tried to run Ubuntu on my PowerPC, but I could never get it to work properly. So,
Wasn't there a version called Linux PPC, PowerPC Linux? I don't think it's supported anymore, but I think for a while there was one that you could install for those.
Ben H goes, Mint PPC has seen a revival as of late. Hmm.
Okay. That's the thing with me. There's so many different flavors of Linux. I'm like, I don't know which one to choose. I don't know, what's going to
Yeah.
work best for me.
Now, I
What?
have actually put Linux on an Intel machine. That's easy.
Yeah.
I actually put it on a MacBook, 2008 MacBook I had just to play around with it. The problem was is that there was a lot of things that the drivers and stuff for it, they don't make a lot of drivers for the Mac specific stuff, so
Yeah.
uh, you get a lot of lag and stuff in it too. It's really, I don't know if it's the way it's coded or not coded, but compiled for that particular version. But
Right.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Agnostic
Um,
ID. What? For Intel distro, agnostic. I've never heard of that one.
I haven't either.
So Ryan goes, Linux stinks.
Linux
uh,
is very like, if you like to tinker and you like to go in and change every little thing, it's kind of like I I liken Linux to Android when it comes to an OS, because Android lets you go in and tinker and you can, set things up and stuff. If you want something that just works and you don't care about that type of stuff, I go with iOS. I'm more happy with that, because I just don't. With Linux, you have to go in and configure. At least with many versions, I know there are some that are a lot more user friendly. I don't know which ones they are, but you have to go in and enable this and disable that, and add this extension in or whatever they call those files. And I'm not familiar with that. I'm not a coder. I'm a designer, so I don't really speak code and command lines. So I've never really, I can't think of any time I've ever actually sat down at a Linux machine.
well, here's the thing. Scarlet Swordfish says, if you wanted Linux, why wouldn't you just get a PC? Now, what we're talking about, Scarlet, is older machines. For instance, like the
Hmm.
Power PC machines that only can support up to Leopard
Yeah.
on it. So you can't really use modern browsers because even 10.4 Fox on a Power PC under Leopard is really bad and slow, especially if you try to do some of the modern websites out there, that are running all this stuff. I mean, 10.4 Fox, don't get me wrong, does a lot of good stuff, but
Mm.
uh, it still doesn't do a lot of what you need, especially with the SSL sites and everything like that.
Yeah.
So
Now, in the past, Apple has actually dabbled with Linux a little bit. Their server software that came on a lot of the workgroup servers was called A/UX, AUX, and it was Apple's flavor of Unix. Not exactly Linux, but um, it's something akin to that. And then with the network servers, they had one called AIX, which is also similar but completely different from AUX. And it was actually a graphical interface. I don't think AUX is graphical. I think it's command line driven. I may be wrong about that,
well,
but
Emily just said AUX is not Linux. It's System V Linux.
right, it's a version of Unix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
So
Linux is
I'm
not Unix. Yeah, yeah.
right.
Well, to be fair, Linux was basically born from the need for Linus Torvalds to actually get a Unix-based type, system. So he wrote his own. you know,
Hmm.
that's pretty much how it was born. I mean, he was bored. He needed something. He didn't want to pay the outrageous fees
Hmm.
that they wanted for it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're right though. It's not Unix. Unix is a totally different system. So, but you got to also remember too, the underlying code of uh, Mac OS is
OS
based on
10.
exactly.
It's
It,
FreeBSD, which is Unix. Yeah.
yep. And here's the thing, and I've actually done this before, is using what's that program where you can compile stuff with? Um, it's been a while since I used it. It's a free software program where you can actually code with the Mac and everything, but you can actually use it to actually compile Linux source code to run on a Mac.
Is it
Xcode, that's it.
Xcode?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Xcode. You can actually use it to compile, the open source code for Linux software to run on a Mac. So, and I've done that before. I've done that with a APRS program that I had, uh, and I still couldn't quite get it to work properly because some
Hmm.
of the what do you call it, the dependencies, uh, I just couldn't find because some of
Hmm.
the dependencies, if they're not where that they're supposed to be on the internet, and it can't find them, it can't grab them. So it's a pain.
Yeah.
You got to go in and do your own make file and everything. So compiling is fun, but it's also not fun.
Sean says, "What do you think about haiku?" I have no idea. Other than the Japanese poetry, I have no idea what haiku is.
Yeah. uh,
Apple
uh,
almost bought haiku instead of Next. Hmm.
well, I
So it's been
think,
around a while then.
yeah. I tell you what. Here's a quick little question too. I mean, we're getting a little bit off topic here. What would have happened if Apple didn't buy Next?
Oh,
Where would we be today? That's a key point in history if you think about it.
they were trying so hard to get Copeland up and running, and Copeland/Rhapsody was just it was kind of like piling on to the old Mac OS. I don't think I'm trying to think. Steve would know this, but I don't think Copeland had any different underlying. I think they were trying to take the existing Mac OS code and trying to put in like your um, what do you call it? We already had multitasking, which they added in System 7, but they
So
were
in other words,
trying to
they
do
were
like
just
protected memory
they were just
and
trying to do a band aid to the very first initial system, whatever it was
yeah.
that they were running, System One, and they were just kept piling, like you said, just piling stuff into it, and uh, pretty soon it was going to break.
Copeland was not a band aid. No, well, see, I don't. It looked like Mac OS, and I know that they tried to get so much into it, um, and they just did not have a clear vision of what they wanted to finally have in the product, and it just kept going like this through the whole creation process, from what I recall.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
So, but that's pretty much our extent of Linux. I mean, you got two of the guys from here have really done no Linux. I don't even think none of us, the Yackers, have really done
I
any
really don't.
Linux.
I just wonder. I don't even think Grudy's messed with it
Yeah,
that
I
I
don't
can
think he
recall.
has. Yeah. I mean, Grudy's has done Windows, but I don't think he's done any Linux stuff per se. I think the only original one we used to have would probably be Rocky, to be honest with you. But I don't even know if he did any. Uh, but yeah, I mean, a lot of us here at Mac Yak, we kind of like to dabble with Mac OS, you know. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we like to use. All right,
I don't
so
have time to learn another language. I know it's not a language, but I
operating
just
system, yeah.
I have no need for it. So
All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our next topic, and it's kind of tagging along with this emulation on a Power PC with virtual PC or soft Windows or anything emulation, even
hmm
emulation on a Mac Pro, you know, the latest OS.
hmm
Um, what's our favorite? I mean, how do we emulate on our Intel Macs? I mean, there's a lot of
hmm.
emulation software out there. I mean, in fact, Sheep Shaver is a really good one to talk about
Yeah.
because that actually lets you run, uh, you know, the classic Mac OS on your Mac. You know, in a virtual, you know, I guess a virtual window or something. Uh, but
I was just looking at the chat there. Jay says virtual PC was garbage. I said soft Windows was hot garbage.
yeah,
I
um,
did it back in the 90s. I did mess with because with the company where I worked, we were all Macintosh based, but we had vendors who had estimating software that you could quote jobs and see, you bid on a job, see if you got it. But it was all Windows, and at the time it was Windows, I think 95 or 98. I guess it was 98, and so we tried soft Windows first, and it was such utter crap that I switched to virtual PC after we got our G4s. And virtual PC ran better. It didn't run quite so good on the G3s, as I recall. We had some iMac G3s in the office. It was acceptable to the point where basically this terminal that they had to use in Windows was a DOS terminal. It wasn't DOS, but it was very simplistic. Didn't have any graphical requirements or anything of the sort.
yeah,
So it ran well through with Virtual PC, but that's really the extent of if you tried to run an Office program like Excel or Word, took forever for it to boot. Once you were in it, you could type fairly well, but just trying to navigate around and things, it used a lot of resources. It really used more resources than it really should have. Um, that was my recollection.
yeah. Now, see, back in that day, that time frame, I mean, I wasn't a Mac user back in the '90s. I actually was using OS2.
Mm.
I tell you what, OS2 was probably back in the day, that was probably the best operating system ever because it was one of the first 32-bit operating systems.
Hmm.
Windows 95 came out, it was still a 16-bit operating system until it matured a little bit more, and then it became a 32-bit. The cool thing about OS2 is that you could run Windows programs natively in OS2. So that was a plus, and the multitasking was so much better in OS2 than Windows ever could do. Um,
Hmm.
but the problem was is that as history shows you, Bill Gates just kind of took over uh, and here's the funny thing about OS2. OS2 was actually started in development by Microsoft. And what happened was is that Microsoft decided they wanted to start working on their Windows more than OS2, so they kind of pushed it to the back burner and kept putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. Finally, IBM finally got tired of it and said, you know what? Just give us what you got. We'll fix it. We'll finish it up. So that's pretty much how it was. And then OS2 Warp was probably the best operating system at the time, back in the early 90s to around 97, 98.
Now, I know probably in recent memory, probably the biggest success in emulation has been Parallels.
Yep.
Because obviously with your Intel processor, it doesn't have to do as much translating, I think, as it did when you were going from code written for Intel machines to machines running with Motorola chips.
Yeah.
So I've seen Parallels, I've used Parallels, I don't own it, but it basically it allocates resources really well, and it actually does things. You obviously don't use these things for gaming or anything, really resource hungry. But, if you're using Windows apps, then, like I said, Office, you're using other stuff. I had a friend who was burning DVDs with Parallels because it actually worked better in Windows than it did on Toast at the time. At least for the format that he was using. So... yeah, I think Parallels has been probably as successful at emulation, more successful than anything else. And I just VMware, is that actual like virtual machining, or is that emulation?
What do you mean?
I've never used VMware.
You talking about VMware? VMware is just virtualization. It's
okay.
You're running a real operating system inside a virtual machine. So, for instance, if you use VirtualBox, a free version of that, doesn't have a lot of the nice features like VMware or Parallels has. For instance, Parallels you can run in the background and basically run Windows programs right on your Mac desktop, and it's seamless. Whereas in VirtualBox, you have to run it inside the actual box or window.
Okay. Well, Emily's saying that Parallels is also virtualization, which I didn't know. So
it is. It's virtualization, like, but it's seamless.
It's not straight up emulation like Virtual PC was.
I haven't seen that feature yet work properly, Emily. So I'll have to check that out again. I haven't used VirtualBox in a while, so I'll have to check that out again.
Chupified said the DOS compatibility card for the 6100 was kind of nifty. That's because it was actually a Windows PC inside of your Mac. It was actual hardware.
Yeah, that wasn't virtualization. That
wasn't an emulation or virtualization. It was having two computers literally in the same box.
Yeah.
Yeah, 486-66. I think that's the one I had. I had the one that came with the PowerMac 6100.
You know what other computer did that? The same thing as having two different computers in it was the Amiga. The Amiga 2000 did that. You could run a DOS machine right alongside your Amiga.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember a friend of mine, he used to swear by Amigas, and that's all he used to run, and used to love them and everything. But and he had one of those where he had the DOS card in it. I
had buddies in high school that were big Amiga fans, Commodore fans, and they always gave me crap, for being the Mac guy. They said, "Oh, Macs are never going to make it." And
look where we're at
Commodore
today.
Now.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, the Amiga was a fantastic system. It was a great architecture. Just another case of horrible management, which Apple had in the 90s as well. So they just had a little more money in the bank to get through it.
I think
and
if Steve
had Steve Jobs.
Yeah, if Steve Jobs had not come back, like Jay said earlier, Apple would be gone. We wouldn't have this show here. The show would not exist. So so we'd all be slaves to Bill Gates.
I know Sean mentioned the Apple IIe card. Yeah, that was another one where you basically had a whole nother computer inside the machine.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
We'd be Windows, yeah. Be Windows Yak.
Windows Yak. WinYak.
Oh, no. I don't think... Jay wouldn't even exist then, because Jay... I don't know if he would... if he would ever even touch a Windows back then, he'd probably still be like Amiga or something like that. It'd be like, nope, never, not touching it.
Jay would have relegated himself to drawing on cave walls.
Ah, there we go. Gotcha. I'd be a painter living high up in the Alps.
Well, that's there you go.
Yeah. Action Retros, maybe Next would still be around. I don't think so because Next was bleeding money like crazy. I mean, Steve Jobs was basically using his own money to keep that company afloat.
Yeah,
Same,
they lacked the financial investing that they really needed.
yeah, and so I don't think that company would have lasted. But I think his investment in Pixar is what really saved Steve Jobs.
Mm,
Uh, because if it
yeah.
wasn't for him and Pixar, I think he wouldn't have been in a position to get back to Apple.
Hmm.
Because once he had all that money, and then him not getting a salary and only taking $1 a year, you know,
Yeah.
he was a smart person to do that because no income tax in. You think
Yeah, it
about
was
it.
amazing how good of a businessman that Steve was. Um, Most people who are I hesitate to call him a visionary because in the end, and I'm getting off topic here, but I think he was a fantastic salesman. Um, he had a way of recognizing a need and pinpointing a need, and then figuring out how to make it more mainstream, more modernized. I mean, look at the iPhone. It took the phone, which was created in the 1800s, and turned it into a hub for your, well, not the hub, but it turned it into an extension for your online presence, as well as a communications device.
Just
So,
say what you really want to say. It's a leash.
yeah, that's kind of what it's turned into. But
Yeah.
yeah, I hesitate to call him a visionary because there were a lot of things that he didn't support, which computers without fans. That really hasn't worked out well anytime it's been tried.
No.
Um, so, those little things like that, things that he got hung up on, but he was a fantastic salesman and he was a fantastic businessman. He knew, um, don't get your company involved in um, anything but business. Don't get involved in, movements and trends and things like that. Create your own trend.
And
So,
unfortunately, Apple's going that way now, and I think, yeah, we won't get into that though.
yeah,
But,
yeah.
all right, guys. So that's pretty much, I think, our experience with. I mean, I've used VirtualBox before. I've actually run OS 2, believe it or not, on a VirtualBox machine on my Mac. So that can be done. It's real pain in the butt to get it to work, but it can be done. Now, one of the things I have never been successful at doing in a virtual machine is getting another Mac OS to run, in, especially VirtualBox. VirtualBox is really bad about running Mac OS, and I think it's because of the way Mac OS behaves. I'm not sure,
Hmm.
but I've never been able to get it to work properly,
Hmm.
at least to load up, Mac. Now, I've gotten Mac OS to run in VMware. So
Hmm.
VMware works really well for that. And
Like OS 10.
yeah, OS 10. Yeah,
We're talking OS 10. Okay.
yeah. But
Now, Sheep Shaver is like OS 8, 9, is right? Isn't that
yeah,
is emulation for that? I know
yeah.
we're
But
kind of going back a
well,
topic, but
well, it's the same. Well, it's still emulation. We're still on topic. Sheep Shaver is you can use it, but in order to use it, you actually have to have the ROM of the machine that you want to emulate.
mm,
So there's a couple things you need to get, and one of them is the ROM from the machine, which is kind of highly illegal. So you have to find it certain ways, and then you have to actually get the software as well. Now, getting the software is easy because Apple actually made that available. All those
mm,
up to OS 9, but getting the ROMs, Apple has not made those actually available. So You have to kind of find those at questionable sources, you know.
Christopher Bourne says he got OS 9 going great in QEMU. I don't know how to say it, but
Yeah.
somebody mentioned that emulator before.
So
I
Scarlett
don't know
goes,
anything about it.
he goes, it's not highly illegal. It's just averagely illegal. Yeah, it's still illegal no matter which way you put it. I mean, you can't. Uh, that's just like saying, oh yeah, you know, it's only illegal until you get caught, but it's still illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Anything else on this before we move on there, Dana? Or
That's all I can think of. Like my emulation experience is limited to
yeah,
back in the day. I haven't really done any of it lately.
yeah. Because this next topic, I think we're going to stick on for a little while. Because this is going to be my favorite topic of the evening, I think, and
Oh yeah.
that is dumpster diving stories. Can anyone beat Steve's
God, we
recent
need Steve
story?
here.
Yeah, we need Steve here for this. But if anybody's actually watched the Mac 84 channel, his latest video, he went out and actually rescued a Molar Mac, and it was funny
Come
too
on.
because he was actually talking to all of us in chat as he was going to get it,
Yeah.
and we're like, Dana and I are both sitting there telling him, "Hey, that thing we saw in the picture there, get that too." You know, we're
Yeah.
like, we're like, rescue that, rescue this, you know,
Yeah, he
and
had a hell of a trip that day. That's he came back with Steve being Steve, I was like, he's gonna get, free stuff drunk and he's gonna come back with a van full of stuff. But I did not anticipate him coming back with, what was it, like almost a half dozen different Macs,
yeah,
including the clone.
hmm
And then not only that, um, a couple of really nice classic CRTs, and not only that, everything works.
yeah,
They all work, and it's mind-boggling to me. But
he
yeah,
got
that when
lucky.
he that clone, when he put up a picture of that clone, I looked at it and I said, "Oh my God, I have never seen one of those ever. I've seen pictures, I've seen ads, and the Mac Warehouse back in the day.
And now Steve
Never,
has
ever,
one.
ever had I seen an APS clone from the mid to late '90s. Never saw one. And here he finds one, in
In
a
a good dumpster pile.
random e-waste dump, and it works, and there's nothing wrong with it. So,
Yeah. Um, Now, as a lot of you guys know, I work, where I work at, people bring in recycle all the time. So when I see something
you get like the dumpster diving
brought to
stuff
me,
without the dumpster.
yeah, I get it brought to me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sitting here looking at and I showed Dana this a little while ago, my stack of MacBooks, MacBook Pros actually, and it's probably about that high. Yeah, it's about that high now. That's just down here. Then I have some G5s and G4, or no, G4 MacBooks up here, PowerBooks that is. Uh, I have a bunch of iPads. Now the problem with, see, MacBooks and MacBook Pros are easy because you can always, uh, change the software on it and get them to work. iOS devices, when people come to recycle them, are a different story because unless they take it off of Find My iPhone off of the off of iCloud, those are pretty much paperweights because there is no way, and I don't care if anybody out there, all these videos you see of people unlocking these things, they are wrong. Ask Rocky, he'll prove it. Because we told him that he couldn't do it, and he tried it with an iPhone that I had and couldn't do it. So
Yeah.
it cannot be done. It has to go through Apple because, uh, yeah, I don't get near a dumpster. I get handed stuff. Yeah, but anyways, the iOS devices are the worst ones to try to collect like that because they're gonna be probably locked because people do not take them off their iCloud lock, and when you're looking at it, it only shows the first letter of the email address, and it'll say at like yahoo.com or iCloud or whatever. But it blocks out the email address, so you can't even email the person to say, "Hey, can you take this off iCloud lock?" I actually found an email for one of them one time. I was able to email the person, but he said that he didn't have that iCloud account anymore, didn't know the password to it, so he couldn't take it off. So I was like, ugh. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, and I I've done repairs to my 6S. I've done the battery swap. I really need to do the um, speaker swap because mine, I keep the volume cranked and I can barely hear it if I'm in the car or something. It's just the speaker's going, and
is
I think
yours
the microphone's
the
going because
is
it
yours the
really does not
6S?
understand.
Is yours the 6S or the 6S
Yes,
Max?
6S, not the Plus, the Mac or the regular 6S.
I have
Yeah,
one here. It has a perfect screen, everything, but it's guess what? It's iCloud locked.
locked. Yeah,
So if you could use parts
yeah.
off of it, I could give it to you. I mean, it does boot up. See, I mean, but it just I just can't use it.
Can you get to any point where you can play a sound or anything, or no?
No, it won't get to that point.
Okay.
When you're starting up, it says to activation. It will stop there. I can't get past the activation lock. So
I got you.
that's why I said trying to do dumpster diving. If you're going to do it for iOS devices, just kind of skip those because, to be honest with you, uh, those unless they're unlocked, they're worthless. Now, the iPhone, 3G, 3GS, and below, those cannot be on iCloud Lock because the iOS software that was supported on them never had the iCloud Lock. So those, if you see
Mm-mm.
those, you can actually get those, and the original iPads. The original iPad is also another one. The iPad 2 actually they started with the iCloud lock on some of those. So if they updated the software to the latest version, you'll have iCloud lock. So
Mm-hmm.
dumpster diving for a lot of those is probably not a good idea. But again, like Jay said, I get stuff handed to me, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
In fact, this Mac back here, okay, the one I'm pointing at, that one
Mm-hmm.
right there is a 21.5 inch. It's a 2015 iMac. The guy was going to recycle it with that one, and he had a 2010 with him the thick Macs,
Mm-hmm.
and both of them he couldn't get to work anymore. This one, the only thing that was wrong with it was a failed update to Catalina, so
Hmm.
it just kept in a boot loop.
Right.
So all I did is I just formatted the hard drive and
Wiped
reinstalled
it,
this, and it's
reinstalled it.
been working fine. In fact, I told Jay, I said, this is the first machine that I can't get it to go above 40 degrees Celsius, even running, a Prime 95 on it. For some reason, that thing it has a very good thermal paste in it. Um, so that one, and then the other one that he gave me had a bad hard drive. I replaced the hard drive and I gave it to a friend of mine, and hey,
Mm-hmm.
both of them worked perfect. So I'm like, I can't believe people. And here's the problem: in the area I live in, people are rich,
Yeah.
so they
They don't think twice about throwing something away.
exactly,
Yeah.
they'll throw something away before and they say, yeah, I'll just get a new one because they got the money
Yeah.
to burn and to buy a new one. But that's my best find, I guess. It was that one right there is a 2015. That's my newest find, you might want to say.
Mm-hmm. I've
2015.
never, I've never actually found anything in like a dumpster or most of the Goodwills around me do not even take computers or most electronics just because I think they don't want to deal with the the hassle of trying to get rid of them. They'd rather just it go to the e-waste recycler, which I think there's only like one or two of those in the city now. There used to be more, but um, But yeah, I've never actually gone. I've never like found stuff in the trash. Um, Mine have all come from people just trying to get rid of something, or um, you happen to see it when you're at somebody's house. You say, what are you doing with that? I don't know, nothing much. You want it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then I've gone to e-waste sales where it was like a warehouse full of stuff, kind of like Computer Reset down there in Dallas. But I went to one here in Michigan. I think we talked about it on the show here back in August or September, maybe earlier than that. No, it was still hot. I think it was like July or August. Anyway, um, brought home a good haul of stuff. Left behind a lot of good stuff because they were trying to base their prices on eBay. And I said, look, if you're going to do that, then you're going to have a hard time selling this stuff because the
What do
people
we
that
call
come in
that?
here are the ones that don't go on eBay.
Yeah, we
So,
call that the eBay
um,
effect. If anybody new is here.
yeah. Sean says when he was in high school, he lived a few miles from really ritzy area. So, like where you're at, uh, said they used to drive around on trash days and would find a few Macs on the curb that way. And I said, that's a good way.
Yeah.
Um, Duke the Fat Cat. Oops, I lost it.
Well, I don't think
Uh,
we still. I still don't think we could beat Steve because he drove an hour and a half
yeah.
to get that stuff, and then he
And
met
now
another guy there, and then the other guy gave him more stuff. It
if
was
the
like,
if the guys up at the sale that I went to had been more amenable to haggling a little bit, I'd have brought home a pile of stuff. They had so much there, but I just couldn't afford it. What I got, I spent like enough on that I wasn't gonna. I was like, what? I don't want to spend this. I'm not gonna go over it, and I didn't. So I left a lot behind. Duke the Fat Cat says, I'm not sure if this beats Steve's find, but I got 3 clamshells, 2SI, two 2C, 2C flat panel display. Oh, okay, I know. Okay. Um,
eccentric
Revision A,
610.
M45051, cinema display, hard disk 20 meg. Yeah, he's got quite a bit of stuff there. That's a pretty good haul. Um, He says he left 8 clamshells, a 2FX, and a Sentra 610 behind. That 2FX you should have taken above all that other stuff, dude. You could sell that on eBay. If you were talking about eBay, you could put that 2FX on eBay, and even without repairing, even without recapping it, you could probably get about 400 for it. Um,
Well,
but why? Because the 2FX is awesome. Keep the 2FX.
one of my
That's what
good
I would do.
finds also, and you saw it too when I was panning the camera around, was my Power Mac G4. Uh, Guy was bringing in to
Mm,
toss it. I mean, the case is. Grudy still owes me the little plastic shield thing that I need to so the door will stay shut. But
yeah.
he's been promising me that forever. But I'll have to
Oh,
smack him upside the head.
we didn't, did we?
What?
He Grudy's got Grudy lives in a neighborhood where there's a family who owns a dog named Jack. Just the Jack lives outside. He runs around. The whole neighborhood knows him. Unfortunately, Jack was hit by a car sometime in the last few days, and he ended up down in a ravine, and nobody knew where he was. And Grudy went out looking and found him. And he, unfortunately, his back is broken. His hind legs don't work, and so Grudy's, that's where he's at tonight, trying to talk to get with Jack's owners and see what they want to do. And um, they may, if he adapts, they say they may get him like one of those dog wheelchair cart things that with wheels, and they just pull it behind him. But if he doesn't get better, then they may
Yeah.
have to, think of something else. But
Yeah, let's hope
so that's
not.
where Grudy is.
I don't like thinking of that, especially dogs.
I
That's
know.
just me.
I know.
Uh, but yeah, this Power Mac G4 bad power supply is all it was.
Hmm. Yeah.
I
It's
mean I bought a power supply for it because I tried to fix the power supply myself, but it was really messed up.
hmm
And those G4 power supplies are a pain.
They
Excuse me,
are.
a pain to work on. They've got everything so crowded in there,
Yeah.
and
I have a Quicksilver with a bad power supply, and it's been that way for years because A, it's at least $50 to buy one online that's been fixed. And B, I don't know how to fix it, and I don't know anybody who can. Well, I didn't until now. Jay could do it, but Jay doesn't like to do it. So
Jay wants this to do
yeah,
it.
hey, give me one of those blue and white monitors that works this time, and maybe I'll do it for you.
There you go. Or give you that clamshell that's sitting right there behind you, right?
Yeah, I
Actually,
don't know.
I
He's
don't
into
know if Jay would
clamshells or
like
not.
that. Yeah.
I don't know if he's into clamshells or not. But
But yeah, I kind of like this. I mean, I've been playing around with it a little bit. I play some OS 9 games on it and stuff, you know. So, oh, Steve is sending us
oh,
some I guess what do we call it? Tech porn.
that
Yeah,
looks like, what is that?
I don't know.
I
It
don't
looks
know if
like a. Is
anybody
that
else
a
can see
power
this, but
supply?
yeah, looks like it. I see a zip drive, a manual for Avid Video Shop, and some other stuff. I don't know what he's trying to show us here. I see a laser writer on the wrong end
I think Steve's going
at
to be
the very
making.
top.
Yeah, I think Steve's going to be making a video here soon. He's just teasing us with
Yeah.
some pictures here.
Of course, every
But
minute he spends taking pictures is a minute less that he can drive home and get on the show, but whatever.
but let's talk about who is probably the worst dumpster dive or the worst dumpster diver out of all of us as far as Mac Yackers. I would actually say Steve is probably the king of that.
Well, when you say worst, you mean like
as
the
as far as the okay, the best dumpster or the one that does it.
the one who gets the most stuff
Yeah,
that way?
I
Yeah,
would say
Steve, I
Steve.
would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, guys, if you have not seen Steve's basement, I'm shocked that he can even walk in there because
He
it
was
is.
promising a while back that he was going to do a tour of his basement. I don't think I've seen it yet. I don't think he's released that yet.
Yeah, Macintosh librarian goes, Steve going to strangers' homes. Yeah, he actually
Yeah.
did that on this last trip.
Yeah. He met a guy there that was looking for stuff, and the guy's like, I got some Apple stuff at home. You want to come see it? And not only did he get that old Apple stuff, the guy goes, hold on, I got one more thing. And he
You
brought
know what
up
it
a full
sounds like?
processor.
That guy was going like, "Hey, I got some candy for you. Got some
Steve's like,
apples.
candy?
Got some apples. You want to come and see?"
Still some old Macs in front of Steve. It might as well be candy.
Yeah, that's true. Uh, yeah, Steve is a fearless Mac adventurer. Yep, I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I think he's got enough stuff now that he's got enough material for his channel for probably a couple of years now.
Mm. Oh yeah, he's got tons of stuff,
Yeah.
tons, and not just in his basement. His garage is full too.
Wow.
And
So
we
he
never
can.
see that.
Yeah. I'm shocked his wife doesn't like disown him or because I don't know. Mine, she gives me funny looks every time I bring something in the house. You know, it's like another one.
You just tell her, hey, as long as it fits in this room where I'm at, this is my room. This is my man cave. This is where I'm going to keep it.
That's
You
right.
don't have to ever see it if you don't want to.
And most of them are just laptops, you know. So
Yeah.
that's mostly what I've got. I mean, I've probably got 20 something laptops. I mean, but I do have some cinema display. In fact, it's funny because a guy brought a cinema display in the box, brand new.
Mm,
Well, not brand new, but it looked brand new. It wasn't a scratch on the thing.
mm,
He took very good care of this thing. But it came in the box with the styrofoam. I mean, the box wasn't even really beat up or anything, so that shocked me.
mm.
And I told him, I says, hey, yeah, I collect Macs and stuff. He's like, oh, well, here, I'll give this to you then, because I'd rather this go to a home than, a good home
Yeah.
than uh, to have it,
Recycled.
recycled. And
Yeah.
because I don't know if anybody's seen how stuff gets recycled where I work at, but we have these big, we call them Gaylords. They're
Hmm.
big cardboard boxes.
Yep.
Okay, they're like
Giant boxes. Yep.
5 or 6 ply. I mean, the cardboard is like that thick.
Hmm.
Um, but they just take it at the end of the day and they toss all this stuff in there. So if it's got a screen on it, it's breaking.
It's going to break. Yep.
uh, when I first started working there, I saw a couple of iMacs go through there, 27 inches,
Mm.
and I cried because once the rule is once it hits, my store, I can't touch it. Okay, once they accept it. But if the customer wants to give it to me outside the store, I have full access to that. I mean, but the customer has to actually want to give it to me. If they say no,
Right.
then I can't do anything about it.
Right.
So so that's how it works. I mean, so we have like a little, I guess, might want to say a little agreement there, but it works out. So
Mhm.
uh,
I rescued a number of mostly iMacs from my employer over the years, and there's four of them that I'm trying to sell right now. If anybody's on Limb Swap USA on Facebook, I've got them for sale there. $25 a pop. You can have it.
yep.
But
Or on Discord, you should have it on our Discord.
well, I did put it on Discord.
Yeah.
I don't know if I updated the price. I lowered the price, I think, from 40 each to 25 each. I listed what's wrong with them. It's an easy fix if you can get the parts for it. On eBay, they're fairly reasonable, mostly GPU issues. But anyway, I just can't be bothered to mess with iMacs. I really don't like working on them, so I'm trying to save some space by getting rid of four of them.
Have you seen what XOR said right there? He went dumpster diving at the Apple factory in Fremont, California, in the early '80s. He got kicked out by security.
Well,
So
did he get anything?
yeah, that's what Trina asked. Did you end up with anything? So I'm
Yeah.
interested to know if he actually got anything because in the early '80s, man, you're talking about Apple IIs.
They could have been thrown away prototypes and stuff.
Well, they could have been throwing away Apple ones too. Because remember they were taking those back.
Yeah, they were. I don't know if that was before they built the Apple campus, but they were taking those back.
Well, no, it's talking about the Fremont, California, and the factory.
Oh,
that's where they built the Macs. That's where they built the Macs.
He hasn't said yet
Yeah.
if he got anything out of it.
Ooh, somebody goes Lisa.
He says he got nothing, but Mac 2s were being built. Okay. Yeah.
That would have been interesting to see what you scored out of that one, man. Because I bet you won't see that today. I bet you Apple has like lock security on their dumpsters and stuff now.
Oh, it's probably gated off to where nobody can even see it. Nobody can even fly a drone over it.
Well, it's probably inside their little spaceship campus they got now.
Everything's inside there now, even the trash.
It's probably all underground too.
They just dug a hole to the center of the earth and they drop it down.
Yep. But anyways, any other? I mean, there's some good dumpster diving stories I'm reading here in the chat. So I mean, let's see, a few thousand liters were dumped in a landfill. What? In Iowa?
Really?
Wow. They're probably.
Oh no.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody ever saw that thing about the Atari games,
ET game.
the ET game, where they went and found the actual dump location and dug it up, and they found all the ET. I can't believe they actually researched
Thousands
that
of them. Yeah.
enough to go and find it.
Now, aren't they like taking those and just dusting them off and selling them as is? People
Pretty
get them.
much.
People are buying them. Just
Yeah.
because,
Well, they won't decompose. I mean, so
they're plastic.
They're plastic, metal, and
Probably crushed fairly well, but I don't know. Maybe some are intact. But yeah, that was kind of a legend. That game it's widely considered to be the worst game ever made.
But now it's the most highly sought after.
Right. It's like one of those, like I said, what did I say about the ugly Macs? The ugly Macs that nobody wanted, now they're cult classics and people are paying top dollar for them. Like that all-in-one that Steve just brought home, that G3. It was an educational market only machine. It's ugly, it's cumbersome, it's the heaviest desktop Mac ever built, and nobody wanted them. When those things went out of style and they were like, hey, I got this G3 all-in-one, you want it? People said no. But now they're selling like $400, $500, $600 on granted it's eBay, but they're selling for big money.
Yeah, but
because
can you
it's
imagine
the ugly computer nobody wanted.
Can you imagine the shipping charges on one of those?
Oh, it would be astronomical. They weigh Steve said that on the
Like
specs it said
60
60
pounds?
pounds.
Yeah.
I think they weigh more than that, but whatever. It's very heavy. It's heavier than a Mac Pro. So if you want one, get ready to shell out some money for it if you can't find it locally.
Yeah. Hey, well, Macintosh librarian, you need to get one for Mackie.
That'd be
he needs.
Mackie 2.0.
Yeah, exactly. He could have a friend.
He'd be in color.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so I think that's. I guess we can move on here a little bit because I think we've pretty much stretched this one to the end. What do
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah.
Okay, next topic of the evening, and this is actually coming out of a video that was shown to us by. It's another Australian. What was his name? Uh,
Hugh Jeffries.
Hugh Jeffries. Yeah,
Yes.
he bought two new iPhone 12s. Okay, both the same,
Hmm.
and he wanted to see how repairable they were. So he was taking parts from one and swapping them to the other one. Well, he found out that basically everything that he could swap out is not swappable anymore
Hmm.
because Apple locked down. Not only did they lock down the home buttons like they did before, but now the cameras you cannot swap back and forth because they're
Okay.
coded to the logic board.
I just linked the video
Yeah.
in chat. You go watch it after this. He proves that before, with let's say you had an iPhone 11 or an iPhone 6 or an iPhone 8, you could go and you could literally swap the motherboards. If you had a phone with a bad logic board, you got another one, you can swap it in and it would work fine. You had a bad camera, you swap it in and it works fine. With the iPhone 12 now, the logic board, the camera, and there was one other thing that was listed under Rossman's chart when Rossman did a follow up to this. But basically, three main components to the phone. If you swap a new one in, the phone does not work. It barely works. You get weird. Uh, the camera freezes. Um, you get weird messages saying we can't enable face identification right now. You get all this stuff that's just going wrong without the phone actually telling you, hey, you've got a part in here that does not match. So it's really shady. I think it's another example of Apple going against the whole right to repair thing. And
Well, I think
I
it's not
mean,
only the right to repair, but they're going against their motto of being green. Because to be honest with you, being green means you're going to fix stuff. You have to fix it and make it last longer.
yeah,
Instead they want us to take these and toss them in a landfill.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
sorry, that's not green.
Rossman did a follow up video that I watched where he said, and he's the one that had the chart up on his screen. He said these three components, if you replace them, the phone then has to be run through Apple's configuration tool, which only Apple resellers or Apple stores have. If you don't run it through that configurator or configuration tool, it will not work. The phone will not work. So that's the way that they keep third party or uh, non Apple retailers from being able to fix these things. And I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, Macintosh Librarian says probably to counter the gray market iPhone resellers in China, get broken iPhones and put them together and sell them again. But see, I don't think it's just that. I, I think they're trying to stop all repairs because here's the thing is there's a lot of repair shops in the United States that know what they're doing. Apple just uses the term that you have to be certified. Well, their certification is a joke. In fact, what's her name? The I have rehab. What's her name? Uh, she does
Sorry, who?
iPad rehab. I can't think of her name right off the top of my head.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I don't
But
remember her name.
she took the iPhone certification, and it took her all of like about 5 minutes to take it and get certified. So it's really not. Uh, well, here she goes. Macintosh Librarian also says are stolen phones. Well, the problem with stolen phones, if you have Find My iPhone enabled on it, that logic board cannot be used at all. So therefore, if you throw away or if you get rid of the logic board, guess what else you can't use? You can't use the touch ID sensor because the touch ID sensor is paired with the logic board. And I kind of agree a little bit on the touch ID sensor with the logic board going to the secure enclave on there because that is your fingerprint data in there.
Yeah.
So that I can understand, but a camera, that does make no sense.
Yeah. Or, even the logic board, I think there's an argument to be made that they shouldn't restrict that either. I don't see why they have to pair that because the logic board, as far as I know, does it store your information? That's all stored on the SIM card, right?
No, the information for your security purpose, like for instance your fingerprint and stuff like that, is all stored on a secure enclave on a chip on the logic board. It's not stored anywhere else on the phone. So if you try to unpair or put a new fingerprint sensor in, then it basically won't work and it will wipe out your enclave, your secure enclave. I think there's a reason why they do that, and when you, let's say you reload iOS onto your phone, it basically destroys everything that was in that secure enclave because that thing is encrypted, and that's the reason why the FBI and all these other people can't really get into it because to be honest with you, it's that secure.
Yeah.
I mean, they were begging Apple to unlock, that one terrorist iPhone, and I believe Apple did the one time Apple does the right thing. I believe that they should have never
It
unlocked
wasn't
it.
necessarily a popular decision, but it was the right decision because then it opens the door for, well, you did it for that. Why don't you do it for this? If they just put their foot down and say, under no circumstances do we compromise anyone's security, then they don't set a precedent for compromising anyone's security. So,
well, you put a back door in something, and hackers will find it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a given.
There's lots of smart people out there that will find a way in, and that's so. Even though it was extremely inconvenient that they could not get information on this terrorist from his phone, I think Apple made the right, if not popular, decision at the time to say no, we will not let you in.
Yeah, I mean, however, get back to the topic but the right to repair is a little different. So let's say, for instance, you have a phone like that, and you go and you want to change something out. Apple should have it where if you change a part out, it automatically wipes everything on the phone, but you could still use, third-party parts or or whatnot, or even Apple genuine parts. But you shouldn't have to have this configurator that Louis Rossmann is talking about to actually reprogram a phone just so you can use a new part on it. That's, to me, is where I draw the line at. I think that's stupid.
Yeah.
But well, someone goes, I saw that video of replacing a home button you got from China. However, okay, here's the thing. That home button still did not act as a touch ID sensor, so you could not use your fingerprint on it, and it did not actually work it worked as a Bluetooth emulation of a home button. So you had to have it paired to Bluetooth, and if you ever turned it in airplane mode, he said if you ever turn it in airplane mode or if you turn off Bluetooth, the home button doesn't work. So it's a workaround, but it's not a good workaround.
Yeah, it's not an exact replacement.
Yeah, they need to have the replacement parts. I mean, it's just simple as that. I mean, in fact, Hugh Jeffries. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I say I just think that making the camera does not store any pertinent information. It's not a storage device. Why should replacing the camera, be restricted now. Why should replacing the even an argument can be made for the logic board because of the security issue.
Hmm.
But what was I cannot think of what the third component was.
Well,
He
you
had
had
a
the
chart and it showed all the previous phones, and it was um, I think it was the battery
yeah, the battery,
was the
because
first one.
the battery's actually now tied to the phone. Because remember, actually, it wasn't Hugh Jeffrey. It was another uh, repair guy. I saw his video where if you replace the battery in an iPhone, it'll always pop up and say this battery is not a genuine, even though it's a genuine Apple battery.
Right.
It'll pop up, and you'll always get that little pop up saying, replace your battery. It's not a genuine battery. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Because now they're programming it into the batteries to match the phone. Um, and he did a
Battery,
verification.
screen, and camera are the three components.
Yeah,
Okay.
now.
Battery, screen, and camera.
Yeah. So
Again, so why the screen? Why is the screen tied to it? If you get a cracked screen, you can't just replace it now. You have to send it to Apple. They have to do it, and they have to run their configuration tool. Why is the screen paired to the phone? Why is the camera paired to the phone? Doesn't make any sense to me.
I agree. There is no reason for that. I mean, to be honest with you, I
Yeah.
mean, Louis Rossman got a shipment stopped at customs and seized from him because
Mm-hmm.
I remember that one video.
LCDs, wasn't it?
It was screens, LCD screens,
Yeah.
and he had it actually confiscated from him, all because it had an Apple logo on it. However,
Mm-hmm.
they were actual real Apple screens that some Chinese factory back there would take all these phones, these recycled phones, and they would take the parts off of them
Mm-hmm.
and basically sell them as used screens, even though they were perfectly fine. And
Yeah.
but they still had the Apple logo. So you know what the Chinese had to start doing then? They had to start going and wiping off or erasing or getting taking off every little Apple logo on the little cables, everything that's on there,
Yeah.
because just because that Apple logo is on there, Apple took offense to that.
Yeah. It's just the latest in a long line of uh, things that I don't even know what you call it. It's intentional, as far
That
as I'm concerned.
they don't do right. I mean,
Right.
here's the thing: Apple is talking about this. They're so green. Every one of their stores is green. Here's the problem with that, though. Some of their stores are in malls. How are they doing the green stores in those malls? Because I'm sorry, but unless you got your own power coming in somewheres, you're off the mall power, which is possibly not green.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that.
It's a whole marketing thing. And they started the whole green movement, I think, in the last years of Steve's life. And back then it was the materials we use are recycled. We use less packaging, stuff like that. And now they're trying to just go full bore with it, and it's just I don't it's not I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
All right, so unless we got anything else there, Dana, I think we got some what were they smoking stuff. But so let's go ahead to that because we're actually at an hour and a half now. Only two of us, and see, we could get it to an hour and a half, no problem. Although
You
we
can get
did
us
have
talking over here.
11 minutes of audio issues, but we're still probably going to be
Yeah,
over the hour and a half, even with
that's
that.
fine.
All right, so we're going to go to the what were they smoking here, and I'm going to pull up the first one here. Let me copy uh, and paste, and let me pull it up in mine because I don't have it in here. Paste and go.
This was yours, actually. This first one.
Yeah, this first one was
Yeah.
mine. And I think it's a local. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was in Virginia.
This one's in Alexandria. It's about 20 miles from me. Okay, this guy thinks he's going to get. I mean, he had it at $2,000 to start with, but he only brought it down another $200, $1,800 for a 12 core 3.46 processor. So it's the maxed out processor. He's got pretty much the maxed out RAM because 128 gigabytes.
Yeah.
But
I put
the
the link in the
graphics,
chat. Hopefully it works because it's a Facebook Marketplace thing.
yeah. But the graphics card is horrible. It's a 280.
Yeah.
Okay. So to be honest with you, my highest price for that machine would probably be about 700, 750. That would be my max for that machine. And the only reason why I say that is because the processors and the RAM is the only two
Yeah.
things that would make it worth that while, but not $1,800.
That's had the CPUs swapped out for the what is it, the 5690s.
Yeah, that's the highest one right there,
So
3.46.
that's been done. 128 gigs of RAM. Um,
So
it's
he's
a
running
decent
30.
card. I mean, it's not a stock graphics card. It's a fairly decent card, but it's not a 580. It's not a 560 or anything like that. But um, yeah.
Yeah,
And he doesn't include a monitor with it. Yeah, 1,800 is that's way more than I'd pay for it. If I was going
yeah.
to spend 1,800, I'd go with something newer. But
Oh, I pasted. I didn't hit enter. So you got the link there. I was just
yeah,
wondering
I
why didn't I?
dropped it
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
But
it's
so if anybody sees that one right there, what do you think this guy was smoking? Because uh, I'm sorry, but 18. He's never going to get 1,800 for a CMP. I mean, yeah, I paid 150 for
well,
mine. I think some people have paid up close to 400. But
is
for
Alexandria a fairly affluent area? Here,
Oh yeah, you got to think
well,
about this. You're
he
talking
might
about
get it then.
the DC metro area, pretty much.
Yeah,
That's pretty much.
he might get it then. But it says here
He's
it was
smoking
built
aluminum shavings.
it was built by a computer engineer for a recording studio. So depending on what kind of music, it could be some of that good old fashioned ganj.
That is true. That is true. All right, so next one here. Let's see. Let me pull this one up and copy, and I'll paste it this time.
All right.
All right, so this one.
Oh, the overlay is still up for the iPhone 12.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That's
I
all right.
didn't. I guess I didn't transition here. There we go. Sorry about that, Jay. Thank you. Now this one might get Jay in a fit because this is a puck mouse for
Yeah. Uh,
for $50,
This one was
like new,
submitted by SadMac on Discord.
but like new though.
Yeah, like new.
I'm looking at the
Look at
picture.
it. It looks.
It's yellowed.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
guarantee
like
you
new.
that rubber finish on it is probably sticky.
Yeah, I'm looking at the
So
cable itself. The cable is yellowed.
so it has a $50 buy it now and then $9.50 in shipping.
Jay goes, I will pay $50 for a puck.
Well, you can go right ahead, buddy.
Yeah.
But you already
Somebody,
have all of them, so you don't need another one.
so Chumpify say is smoking a decomposing rubberized cable.
Yeah. That
Uh,
that layer of goo that comes off, or that rubbery matte finish is with
yeah.
on the color part.
I like Action
Yeah,
Retro though. He
probably,
goes, does
yeah.
this puck even count as a mouse?
Do any of them really?
That is true.
Jay's not here to defend them, so we can
No, he
pass
is
the buck.
there. He's actually in there.
Well,
He's
he's not
talking.
here though. He's in
Oh,
the
that's
chat.
true.
We can ignore that.
That's right. Well, he could come in anytime he wants. He's already in the chat.
He
So
can go back to his office
yeah.
and turn off the mute.
All right. So I think that was
Sean
all
wants a
we.
war. He wants it.
So I think the first one was probably the worst one of all. I mean, to be honest with you, $50 for a puck is a little excessive. I would agree. I probably wouldn't pay more than $5 for one, but
Yeah, there were
I mean,
millions of them.
yeah. Although Jay has every color, so you know, and
Yeah.
Jay likes to play UT with the puck, so he says. So,
No,
So
he does. I think I've seen him do it before.
ah.
It's it's unreal. It's unreal.
There you go. All right, so
He
last
paid
thing we got.
$12 for a purple one. Sorry, Jay said he paid $12 for a purple puck, and that was the most expensive one.
So it's still about less than way a quarter of the price that guy is wanting. He wants 4 times
Yeah.
more for a gray one.
Yeah. And he did have an offer button, so I think if anybody does buy it, they're going to end up offering a lot less.
Yeah, I'd be
But
like, offer $1. Would you take $1? I'd buy that for $1.
if it's $10 in shipping, you won't get more than 5 for me.
Yeah, graphite and blue I got for $2 to $5. So, all right, so we're coming to the end of the show, guys. So we'll do some shameless self promotion. It's only just me and Dana tonight, so I'll let Dana go first if he's got anything going on.
I actually have some videos planned, and so
What?
I've filmed half of the liquid cooling restoration for my G5 with Jay. That's going to get the rest of that's going to get filmed as soon as I can source some correct O-rings. The ones that I got that were supposed to be right were wrong. Um, but then other than that, I have a 27-inch 2011 iMac, which I thought was older, and I was just going to recycle, or I was going to try and sell it with the others. But it's an i7. It's got the high-end graphics card, which failed.
Oh.
So I was debating what to do with it, and I said, oh, well, I'll just get another GPU. And Steve said you can get a PC graphics card, which is basically the same thing. And Grudy even has a video on this where you
Mm-hmm.
put a NVIDIA GeForce 765 mobility card in it.
Mm-hmm.
And at
It's
the time,
I think they
they
come out
didn't
of
have.
Alienware computers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was a year ago. So now you go on Mac Rumors and they have an entire thread devoted to the GPU upgrades on these machines. And you can take GPUs. You can take, there's 3 different ATI ones that you can put in there. And then, of course, there's the GeForce 7800 Mobility Series that um, can be put in there. Well, a lot of those are still like $150 or more on eBay. Although the Quadro cards, which are not used for gaming, let's be honest, but they're pretty beefy cards as far
Mm-hmm.
as multiple monitor support, CAD, things like that. And they still increase they increase the performance by at least 30 to 100% depending on which one you get. So I got one of those for like $65, and so I've got a video plan where I'm going to upgrade I'm going to put an SSD in it. I'm going to upgrade the RAM in it, and I'm going to put this GPU in it. And then I have a 24-inch 2008 iMac that has a bad LCD. It's not, and you can still see it, but it's like a real yellow, dark color.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought a new LCD for like $40 on eBay, and I'm going to put that in there. So that'll be another video. So I've got stuff planned.
Yeah. Uh, for myself, I'm in the middle of planning it. I'm still writing the script for it. I've kind of gotten lazy on it, but I still need to do it. But it's my second video in my ham radio series, so I'll have to. I got to get that one finished because I put the very first one I did, and I said, I'm going to do another. I'm going to do a series of these, and I've only done one, so I need to do the second one. And the first one I did was well over a year ago. So, but that one wasn't as professional as I'd liked it to be. So I'm learning a lot more from Steve, of course, and stuff like that. But I want to script this one, and I want to do voiceover, stuff like that, and do all this other stuff. So,
Oh
and
crap!
guess who just joined us?
Hello.
Steve.
From
So,
like Skype on
Well,
his
now he
phone.
shows up.
yeah.
Sorry. Don't bother with the video. I'm not staying long.
Okay. So Steve is here on Skype with us, but you're only going to hear him. So he's going to be our ghost in the background. So,
Yeah, hear me in the airplane going over me.
yeah. But Steve, I think, is in the middle of rescuing some poor
Power books.
power books. So Hopefully
which
he.
were in worse shape than I was described, but whatever.
Ah,
So was it Goldie that was going to get him?
I don't think so. Not to my
Ah,
knowledge.
okay.
I
that's
didn't
good.
ask.
He didn't know who it was that was from New Jersey.
I was gonna text you, Steve, and say if you show up and Goldie's there, I want to see a fight.
I think Steve could take
It'll
him.
be like a
He's muted
vintage Mac
himself again.
trivia challenge.
Ah, okay. So,
I think I would win because he just likes to.
That's no
rebuild.
fun. I don't want to see that.
but I want to show everybody something that
I could whale him with a printer.
kind of got from a friend of mine, and I'm trying to convince him to let me keep it.
Oh, that's not a bad
Ooh,
one.
a black book.
Core Duo or Core 2 Duo?
It's a Core 2
Was it
Duo. It's a
Gertie?
2007. See, now we got all these
We're all just gonna show up. I might
see-
as
Yeah,
well
we're
show
all
up
going
too.
to
The
show up
last
at
few
the end of the
minutes.
stream.
the last few minutes. So don't expect me to pull video up on you guys because I'm
Oh,
not
my
going to do
Lord.
it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, this
We're
thing
in the
is
last
in
minutes of the show.
really
and now
good
we
shape.
have like 5 people here.
However, the battery, I had to take the cells out of it because it was they were expanding. So I took them
Expanding.
out. Yep, exploding. So, but it still has the black one in here. No battery in it,
Nice.
but it does have it. It does work.
But it looks pretty. That's the most important.
Yes, I mean, looks really
Yeah.
I hate
nice.
those things with a passion.
Yeah, but the
Really?
black book was so cool looking.
It
I
is.
also just picked up something you
They
did
are.
also, Jen.
They are cool looking.
I mean, it's not like sticky or like the puck mouses get. So it's not getting this rubberized coating or whatever it has on here.
Right, right.
It's
Yeah.
really nice. It's scratched up, so but this is in really nice shape. So, but I'm gonna convince him to try to maybe let me keep this. But I already took the battery out because it was about ready to pop out because it was
Right.
getting so thick. But because the battery, the way they made this battery is you could take the screws out and take the metal plate off of it, take the cells out. Although I had to like really get the glue off of them to pry them up, and then once I did that, I was able to put the case back on. So the battery looks like it's a battery, but nothing there. So
I did the same thing with mine. I actually used a white battery and swapped it over to a black case.
yeah, I might do that. I may do that because I do have a brand new white battery that I may do that with. So that
This
still
Yeah,
has.
but
hide your drug.
It has to
Huh?
be an Apple
I'm
battery.
still cracking up that there's 4 of us now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't that hilarious?
Yeah. But
I came
Uh,
back to my
like,
office
are
to
you
quit
outside,
Skype. I
Rudy?
figured you guys would be done by now, but nope.
no,
Hey,
we
no.
actually go overtime when there's only 2 of us. So we actually do.
we-
See, guys, we actually do find stuff to yak about even when there's only 2 of us. So, but anyways, guys, I think we're pretty much to the end of the show here. So let me go ahead and pull up the next slide here. Join us on Discord. We are going to start trying to get onto Discord. I think on our 100th episode, we all will probably be on Discord to talk to all our fans. At least after the show on that one, I think we should do that, guys. I'm gonna put
Yeah, I'm
it
down
sounds
I'm gonna
with
like
put
fun.
them on the spot here. So maybe, and this is a thought, play another game of UT after the show.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Now, we got to warn you guys, okay? If you come on to the chat while we're in the gaming chat room on Discord playing UT, we get a little colorful language there. So,
A little,
A little bit.
a little.
so yeah, so that's just a warning that it's not kid friendly at all.
Especially you, GT.
Well,
You got a mouth on you.
no, well, I was in the army for 20 years. That's why.
The one who's really going to surprise you, though, is Steve.
Oh yeah,
I
Steve
think
turns
Bruce.
into
Oh,
a
If
maniac.
he plays, is Bruce.
Steve is
Bruce is
brutal.
Bruce, yeah.
No, Steve is brutal though when he gets on
10-5. Okay, yeah, that was it. I was just answering a question here in the chat about Ben Fitzpatrick has a Samsung laptop he wants to put 10.5.8 on.
Hmm.
Samsung laptop.
Why a
Okay,
Samsung?
I don't know what browser. I guess he's gonna make a Hackintosh, like a leopard
I
Hackintosh.
could, yeah.
Yeah, but also depends on the generation of hardware in it too,
Yep.
if it's even
Yeah,
possible.
yeah. Would 10.4 Fox even? I guess it would work on that.
Well,
10.5.2
they
was the one for
made an
YouTube.
Intel 10.5 Fox version.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So, do we have anything else before we go ahead and shut her down for tonight?
Grudy, you got a video coming up?
Well, I may live stream about my dog tomorrow and a few other things. It's up on the table right now. We'll see.
All right, good. But well, hopefully Jack's doing okay. Is he like in a lot of pain, or is he?
He's in no pain. He's just paralyzed.
Mm.
I just
Well,
I mean, I could see you in your I could tell in the way you were talking to us about that. You just wanted to find that person and.
Oh yeah, if I found the
Yeah.
person, the person wouldn't be breathing when I'm done.
Well, let's not say that over a live chat, a live video here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Save it
Oh,
for
of course
UT.
not.
Yeah.
We'd welcome
the
him with
chances
open
of me ever finding the person is pretty slim.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anybody that does that and leaves a dog out in the middle of nowhere just to die is, to me, that's just a subhuman.
Yeah.
So.
I do have one thing.
Uh-oh.
If Sean would like
got
to
that?
meet me on Discord to talk some more smack about the puck mouse, I'm here.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There you go, Sean.
I think
The
Sean goes to bed around this time, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Are you still in the chat?
Hey, and speaking of which.
Oh yeah, there he is.
Speaking of which, guys, Halloween. We should play Haunted Halloween on UT.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we have the Halloween map on UT, so we need to get you guys. Any of you guys that play UT on a classic Mac?
Let's do it.
and it's on a Saturday,
Yeah.
which is even better.
However, it's the last day at my store that's going to be open, so we're having a party after work. So I probably won't be until later.
Your store
Watch,
closing?
it's going to
Yes.
be the last day of your store being open and
I
someone
didn't know
decides
that.
to recycle an iMac Pro or something.
Oh, dude, if they
Watch.
do, I'm coming home with an iMac Pro.
And
You
you
can
don't
ship it
need
straight to me if you want.
You'd be happy to if I came out there and picked it up from you.
I'd be happy if somebody came with like a truckload of Mac Pros,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can make that happen, but you don't want them. They're 2008s.
No. I want anything 2009 and up.
You
Well,
didn't
the
specify.
8s
Too late.
aren't
I'm already on my
bad.
way.
Nope. I have a 2006 shell in here. I don't need it. I already parted out everything in it, but I have the case for it that I want to do something with
Right.
one of these days, but haven't been able to do it. So.
Before my cell connection dies, I just wanted to thank everybody who watched the video I put out, because I wish I was there to talk about UA stuff, but I wasn't. But
Oh, we talked about
That
you.
was a great
We
video.
talked about you enough in the topic. So.
no, thank you. I
Yeah.
hope all
You
good
made a
things, of
video?
course.
Yeah.
What video?
All right, guys. So.
Good luck.
That's a great video.
He goes, this is
It
Unreal
was.
Attorney
Thank you.
2K4. Yeah, 2004 is usually what we play there, Macintosh Librarian. So
We're doing this
Although we
Saturday?
can now play 99 as well
on
with the most recent
on
patch.
Catalina,
Talk about them
on
Discord if you want.
Catalina, you can play it even.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So
Now, are we going to announce this on the Vintage Gaming Lounge on?
yeah, we could do it
Facebook?
there, and also
Yeah, we'll
we can
announce it
also
everywhere.
announce it. You know what? And we'll talk offline on this, but anyways, guys, let's go ahead and say we'll say bye, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Bye.
Hopefully we have
We'll
more
catch you
people.
guys next week.
See ya.